Hello everyone, in this video I will go over my solution to the problem named Mocha and Diana. This is the hard version of the problem, so I encourage you to first solve the easy version of the problem. I have posted the video editorial for the same and you can find that in the video description below. So after you have seen that video editorial, which is only 6 minutes long, you can come and see the hard version of this problem. So my solution for the hard version of the problem will build on the solution for the easy version of the problem. It actually uses two small modifications, and the general idea for the extension to the hard version is that if you recall, in the hard version we are trying all pairs of edges I to j, and instead of using these two loops we'll try to use two pointers, or basically we'll not try to use a double for loop, we'll try to optimize that a bit. So let's first use the third sample test case and let's try to exploit observation 1 more. So if you remember, in observation 1 we realized that an edge u to v can be added only if u and v are not in the same connected component. So for example, in the third sample test case we can add the edge from 1 to 2 in both the graphs. Then we can also add the edge 1 to 3 in both the graphs, and we can also add the edge 1 to 4 in both the graphs, because 1 and 4 are in different connected components in both the graphs. However, we cannot add the edge 1 to 5 in both the graphs, because although 1 and 5 are in different connected components in the first graph, they are not in the same connected they are not in different connected components in the second graph. So in the second graph, notice that 1 and 5 are already in the same connected component. That's why we can't add the edge 1 to 5, and also we can't add the edge 1 to 6, we can't add the edge 1 to 7, because 1 and 7 are in the same connected component in the first graph and 1 and 6 are in the same connected component in the second graph. So what we can actually do is, we can still add the edge 5 to 7 in both the graphs, because 5 and 7 are in different connected components in both the graphs. And in this way, instead of adding from 1 to 5, we actually replaced 1 with the node 7 and added 5 to 7. So this will be sort of the intuitive base for our solution, and the intuitive understanding of the solution will be, we'll try to first join node 1 to all possible nodes I. So this is obvious because we'll even in the first naive solution we tried all j, we tried to merge all j into I, which is 1. However, let's not run the loop for I is 2 to n minus 1. Let's try to be more clever, and basically let's still use the principle that we need to merge all nodes into the connected component of node 1. So what we are essentially trying to still do is, we are still trying to merge all the nodes into connected component of node 1. However, we can't always add the edge from 1 to that other node. So for example, we can't always add the edge from 1 to 5, but we'll try to find another node which we can add the edge from. So in this case it was the edge from 7 to 5 which we could add. So let's try to make this idea more formal and more sophisticated. So the general idea which I mentioned was that we need to use two variables L and R to represent the two endpoints of the edges which we add. However, instead of doing the brute force nested loops, we will use two pointers in a more clever manner. Now, to be able to use the two pointer technique in this problem, we need to make sure that two conditions are met. The first condition is that L and R should not be in the same connected component as node 1. This is the first condition. This condition should be met because already in step 1 we are joining all the nodes from the first graph. So we are basically joining 1 to all the nodes I, such that 1 and I are not in the same connected component in the graph 1 and in the graph 2. So that's why L should not be in the same connected component as node 1 for the first graph, and R should not be in the same connected component as node 1 in the second graph. So this is what we'll try to ensure, and remember that L will represent the first graph and R will represent the second graph, like for our purposes. This is the first condition. The second condition is that we need to ensure that the connected components which L and R represent have not yet been visited. And this concept is a bit new, so I'll explain the visited concept in a bit more detailed manner. So the visited idea is basically that node L is not visited means that node L has not yet been merged into node 1's connected component in the first graph, because L represents the first graph and R represents the second graph. And similarly, component R has not yet been merged into node 1's connected component in the second graph. The reason why we do this is because of the general idea that we want to merge nodes into node 1's connected component, or basically we want to merge the maximum components which we can into the first connected component. So now I'll just dry run this idea, these two steps, with the third sample test case. So in the third sample test case, the initial graphs are given over here. This is graph 1 and this is graph 2. And now I'll do the first step. The first step is to join 1 to all possible nodes. So 1 will be joined to 2, 1 will be joined to 3, and 1 will be joined to 4. Now 1 cannot be joined to 5, 1 can be joined to 6. No, it can't be, because in the second graph they are in the same connected component, and 1 cannot also be joined to 7. So this is where we stop. Now we have L is 1, R is 1. We try to move L until we meet the condition that L is not in the same connected component as node 1. So since 1 is in the same connected component as node 1, we'll move L to 2. Since 2 is also in the same component, we'll move L to 3 and we'll move L to 4. Similarly, we'll move L to 5. Now 1 and 5 are in different connected components in the first graph, and since L represents the first graph, we'll stop L over here. Instead, we'll move R by meeting the same condition. So we'll move R to 2, then to 3, then to 4, then to 5. R will still move beyond 5 because 5 and 1 are in the same component. So R will move to 6, then R will move to 7. And now notice that they are in different connected components. 1 and 7 are in different connected components. So that's why we'll add the edge from L to R, or basically from 5 to 7 in both the graphs. And these two steps together, as we can see from the dry run, ensure that we are trying to basically merge all nodes into the connected component of node 1, because first we are joining node 1 to all possible nodes I, and then we are applying the second step. So now I'll show you the code which implements the exact same idea. The idea of first joining the nodes to node 1, and the second idea of the two-pointer approach with the visited array. So in the code, the first part of the code is very similar to what I did in D1. It's exactly the same. I have the data structure DSU, which is a predefined data structure, and then I take in the values of n, m1 and m2, and then I basically have a vector int a, which represents all the edges to add, and I have two instances of the DSU data structure, val1 and val2, which represent the first graph and the second graph. Now for the main part of the code, the answer variable represents the total number of extra edges which we add, which is initially 0. Then I implement the first idea, which is add edges from 1 to I wherever possible. And in the second part, I have the visited array, which is of size n+1, and it tells us whether the ith connected component has been merged into the connected component of node 1 or not. So you could set visited of 1 to be 1 because we have merged the connected component of node 1 into itself already. L is 1 and R is 1, which represent the two pointers. So while L is less than or equal to n and R is less than or equal to n, I basically do the two-pointer approach. So the conditions to be met are that L should always be less than or equal to n, and we realize that L and 1 should be in different connected components, and the connected component of node L should not be visited. So while this condition has not yet been met, I increment L, and similarly I increment R while this condition over here has not yet been met. And now I basically just check if L is greater than N or R is greater than N. In that case, we can just break because we don't have any components to merge. Otherwise, we merge the connected components L and R together in both the graphs. And basically, we can write val1 dot merge L comma R and val2 dot merge L comma R, but this is actually not necessary because we are not essentially we are not checking the connected components with respect to each other. We are checking it only with respect to node 1. So that's why this condition suffices. So it suffices to say that val1's, so basically the connected component in the first graph, which is for the node L, has been visited, and similarly the connected component in the second graph for node R has been visited. And this basically helps us in the next iteration where we check for visited of val1 dot find L in the first graph and val2 dot find R in the second graph. So that's why we mark the two connected components as visited in both the graphs, and then we add the edge to the set of all edges and we increment answer by 1. In the end, we print answer and the edges. And now I'll just submit this code to see that it gets accepted. So as you could see, my code got accepted. I hope you liked this problem and my solution to this problem. As you could see, this problem illustrated the use of the two-pointer approach and built on the solution for problem D1. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you had any doubts in the solution, do leave them in the comments below. Thank you.